Welcome to this afternoon's weekly football press conference. The Citadel will travel to VMI in Lexington, Virginia this Saturday, October 19th for a 1:30 kick. The game will be broadcast on Nexstar. It is the Nexstar SoCon Game of the Week, as well as streamed digitally on ESPN+. The game is the 79th edition of the Military Classic of the South, which is an annual competition between the Citadel and VMI. To take questions now, head coach Maurice Drayton.
Good afternoon. Hope all is well. First and foremost, to our Citadel family, our hearts go out with sympathy to Mr. Dave Orr, our Director of Environment and Health and Safety. Prayers to his family and loved ones. Thanks to all who made the journey to Cullowhee, North Carolina. Surprisingly, the roads were very good to us on the way going and coming. We had a supply drive where we took multiple items to the school and to the community. That went very well. Thank you to all of those who gave time, money, effort to this initiative. Even our players. We had players to donate as well. So we want to thank all of them. In this opening statement, I want to ask a question. We have two teams. One team rushed for 274 yards. Another team rushed for 102. The same team rushed for had total yardage of 429 yards worth of offense. The other team had 396. The first team that I'm talking about had 77 plays of offense to the other team's 74 plays. Penalties. The first team had 4 penalties. The other team had 8 penalties. Average yards per punt. The first team had 41 yards per punt. The other team was 25. And then the time of possession. The first team had 33 minutes. The latter team, or the second team, Team B, had 27 minutes. So I ask you, who won that game? Team A did not win the game. That was your faithful. That was the Citadel. We won in multiple categories, but we did not win in these categories here. And this is the tale of the tape. 4th down conversions. We were 1 of 2. They were 2 of 3. Red zone scores. We were 1 of 4. They were 5 for 5. Field goals. And I'm a special teams guy. We were 0 for 2. They were 1 for 1. And we threw 2 interceptions. So the tale of the tape is we have to win in the red zone offensively and defensively. We have to make our three-pointers when we get an opportunity, and we can't turn the ball over. Having said that, I'll open this up to questions.
Going off the running game, obviously Jonathan had a great day on the ground. His running, is it more kind of design runs? Is it him kind of taking off? Kind of what did you see out of his day on Saturday?
No, it was definitely design runs. Last week, this same time, I mentioned that we wanted to play boring football. We wanted to run the ball. If we were able to run the ball and win the time of possession, it would limit their explosive offense. So it was very detailed. It was planned. It was calculated just for him and Dustin as well.
I know after the game you told Andrew, you just talked about the frustration like this. I mean, red zone efficiency. You talked about being disciplined, starting in practice. Just what are y'all doing this week to improve that red zone efficiency? What do you got to do?
Yeah, well, we always practice in the red zone once a week. We have various periods. We have a checklist that we go through. So during the week, we're in the red zone and we work there, but we'll put extra periods to that. We'll put something on the table, meaning there will be a winner, there will be a loser, and the loser will have to do push-ups or run extra sprints or things of that nature. There has to be a consequence with losing. I believe our young men have been told for so long, it doesn't matter if you win or lose as long as you fight hard. Well, my daughter told us several weeks ago that's a bunch of hogwash, and I agree with her.
Going back to Jonathan, obviously one of his interceptions was right there in the end zone. Kind of what did you see out of that, and kind of what do you tell him after he makes maybe a mistake like that?
Yeah, both interceptions were in the end zone or right there in the red zone. The one before half, basically, because we have a half a ball to play, we have to flush it immediately and move on. Because if you don't, if you let that linger, if you hold to that, you will not be able to bounce back and play in the manner that you need to. So we flushed it, and we corrected on Sunday as to the why it happened and what we could have done differently as a coaching staff to help him out, so he feels like he doesn't have to throw that ball.
You talked briefly about Dustin kind of getting maybe a little bit more snaps here in the future. Kind of what's your plan for him?
Yeah, we feel like we have a very capable backup. He is the backup. There's no controversy. Dustin is JB is our starter. Some would say that's a Freudian slip. JB is our starter. Dustin, we want to get him some work. We want to get him some reps. I mentioned from day one that we were not building a season. We're building a program. And in order to build a program, young guys have to play. You will see more and more of our young guys play. Now, we're not going to put anybody on the field who's not ready. If they're physically ready, if they appear to be mentally and emotionally ready, we're going to put them on the field to see what they can do as we participate in these next 5 games.
Is that also maybe getting Kobe out there for a few snaps as well?
Yes, because of the NCAA rules, we are allowed to play a player up to 4 games, and they're able to redshirt. And we plan on utilizing all of that with Kobe as well as some other freshmen that we brought in.
You talked about talking to JB just about those interceptions, when to throw it. Were those both the plays that were called, though? Is that what was supposed to be done there?
Yeah, so yes, to answer your question, that was a called play. He did not check to it. But what I was alluding to is we as a coaching staff, maybe I need to look at a different percentage type play. Stats show us that any outbreaking ball or the fade ball especially is the lowest percentage caught ball in football. In-breaking routes, slants, things of that nature, they're completed at an exponentially higher rate. So we have to be better. Now, part of that was, too, the clock would have been running. We did not have any timeouts. So then what we can go to is to what we call O-zone, where you either throw it out of bounds. If nothing's there, if a man's covered, throw it out of bounds. We'll kick the field goal, take our points, or you throw it into the end zone to an open receiver. I could have emphasized that more. We're not going to let these young men wear the brunt of this by themselves. I got C on my chest for a reason, and it's not the Citadel. It's coach right now. So I have to wear that.
Are we going to see a little bit more of not traditional triple option stuff, but there was a lot of triple option stuff on there? Was that just because of their defense, or is that something that we're going to see a little bit more of as we go along?
Yeah, so we will always design our schemes for the week based upon the defenses that we are playing, and it just so happened that Western Carolina allowed us to play more option type football, and I love it. I mean, that's where my DNA is. That's what I want to do. That's where I'm happy. That's my comfort level. But if teams, if they stack the box with 8, 9 guys, we'll throw the ball, and we feel like JB and Dustin are very, very comparable. They can throw the ball, and we would be just fine.
You mentioned 2 weeks ago how Furman is kind of the rivalry to former Bulldogs and fans. Obviously, another big rivalry coming up this Saturday with VMI.
Absolutely, and when I talk about VMI and I talk about Furman, they both are our rivals. Okay, Furman is our in-state rival. That is it. But VMI, when I think about VMI, I have so much respect for their institution, for their president, for their athletic director, for their head coach, Coach Rocco. He's a Hall of Fame coach. I've watched his career. I've had the opportunity to coach against him, play against him on multiple times, and he does it right. He does it the right way, and we're going to have our hands full. As far as it being a rivalry, it's a rivalry because basically we are the only two institutions at our level who live the way of life that we do. We have codes, and what do I mean by code? We don't steal, we don't cheat, we don't tolerate those that do. We live a lifestyle that only some can dream of. We live a lifestyle that prepares you to do things and to lead this country, to provide a cloak or a blanket of protection. So I have so much respect for their institution and their athletes because what they have to endure just to get on the ball field.
How much have you lived with them taking the Silver Shako last year here at home and trying to get it back up there this weekend?
I haven't had to lead at all with that. Our players are fired up. Our strength coach is leading the charge. I don't know what happened after the game last year, but he was fired up, and he's been fired up ever since. He has not let it go, and every time when we're training, he brings it up at some point, one way or another. It's going to be a feisty, fiery football game, and I'm just so glad to be a part of it. I tell you what, they have some really good players. Yes, they're playing three quarterbacks right now, one being a true freshman, one being a redshirt sophomore, and one being a redshirt freshman. But that's truly, in my opinion, not the position that makes this thing go for them offensively. It's their running back. And he is the real deal, Hunter Rice. He has played in every game he's been on VMI's campus. He is their leading rusher. In 2023, he was a second-team All-SoCon. He's fourth in the nation in rushing touchdowns. I can't say enough about this gentleman. He's the one that scored the game-winning touchdown against us last year, going to the scoreboard. To my right, your left right now. I have nightmares about this guy, so we have to stop him. They get him the ball in many facets, screens, draws, wildcat formations. He's their second leading receiver as well, too. So he has good hands getting out the backfield. Matter of fact, I had one of my NFL buddies call me asking about him. Of course, I gave him rave reviews because I think he can do it. He can play on Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to say defensively, what kind of problems they present, and then besides the running back, who else kind of jumps out at you on film?
Yeah, like I said, it started with the running back. Outside of that, they have a young receiver that's pretty good, but it's really the running back. He is the catalyst that makes it go. If we can stop him, contain him, that will give us an opportunity to come out. Because through our schematics, we're going to have them in the right place. And our guys, they just need to execute at the point of attack. And then offensively, we've already hit on it. We have to finish drives. We have to finish drives. We have to score in the red zone, and we have to limit the turnovers. If we do those things that I just talked about in our three phases, that Silver Shako will come back to Charleston.
I know for them, I think against Wofford, I think they had the lead, right, fourth quarter. So for them, kind of key was not finishing the game. Y'all know that well, too, now. Just looking at them from a defensive standpoint, how do you go out there defense, stop them from finishing again?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So as I went through their games, Bucknell was a 28-35 loss. They were winning at one point in that game. And then you just mentioned the Wofford game. They were winning at that point. So we're kind of mirror images of each other from that standpoint. I think we focus on ourselves and not so much VMI. I think we remind ourselves what finish is, what finish looks like, and how to finish. And it goes back to that mindset stage that I talked about during camp and the three previous phases. So.
Boring football. That's what you want.
I like boring football. Charlie Taft would be so proud of me right now. Don Powers would be so proud of me. The first time we threw a forward pass in the game, I felt something nudging on my shoulder. I think it was the angels from up high telling me, don't do that.
Just from a player standpoint, are they all bought in on the boring football part too? Are they into that process?
Our
too?
players are bought in on winning. They want to win. They want to win. And so when it comes to winning, some of the things we have to talk about is our players give effort, all right? But we have to give intentional effort. We have to give smart effort. You can run real fast, but you can also run real fast in the wrong direction. So we need to channel some of that energy, that enthusiasm, and that effort and direct it a little bit better so we can come out on top.
Well, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys.